Emotional calmness is one of the most underestimated forms of attraction, yet it's the one quality that reshapes how a woman experiences your presence. People often confuse calmness with being passive, disconnected, or unemotional, but that's not what we're talking about here. Emotional composure is not the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. It's the ability to stay centered when situations become tense, to hold your ground when conversations take unexpected turns, and to maintain clarity when someone else is losing theirs. This level of stability creates a psychological anchor. It tells her without words that your world doesn't fall apart easily. Your reactions are not impulsive, they are intentional. When you operate from this place, you shift the emotional dynamic entirely. She doesn't just see you as someone who keeps his cool. She feels the safety that your calmness provides. Women are highly attuned to emotional signals, and they can sense whether your energy brings harmony or chaos. When your presence consistently brings steadiness, you become the place she instinctively gravitates toward. Not because you're perfect, not because you're unbothered, but because your emotional restraint creates emotional space. Space where both of you can communicate without fear, without pressure, without escalating into unnecessary conflict. Calmness also signals a deeper form of self-respect. It shows that you're not willing to let external situations hijack your inner world. You understand the difference between reacting and responding, and that difference reveals character. It demonstrates emotional maturity, and emotional maturity is rare. Rare things are attractive, and attractive things become unforgettable. Remember this: anyone can raise their voice, anyone can panic. Anyone can crumble under pressure, but the one who remains composed becomes the one who stands out. Emotional calmness isn't just a behavior, it's a message. And the message is simple. Asterisk strength doesn't shout, it stabilizes. Asterisk intentional attention is one of the most powerful emotional experiences you can offer someone because it communicates value in a language deeper than words. Most people hear to respond, not to understand. They listen on the surface, catching fragments but missing the meaning. Intentional attention is different. It's the discipline of being fully present, mentally, emotionally, and energetically, when she's speaking. It's the awareness that what she's communicating isn't just information. It's emotion, history, fear, desire, and nuance wrapped into a single moment of vulnerability. When you listen with intention, you make her feel seen in a world where most people skim through each other. And that feeling is rare. You're not interrupting, not rushing to fix things, not trying to one-up her story. You're simply creating space for her reality to exist without judgment. That alone is magnetic. Because when a woman feels understood, she naturally relaxes into the connection. Your presence becomes associated with clarity rather than confusion, emotional grounding rather than emotional noise. This kind of attention also requires a level of self-awareness. You can't be fully attentive to someone else if you're drowning in your own internal chaos. So the quality of your attention reflects the quality of your inner world. The calmer you are within, the more deeply you can tune in without, and that depth is felt. She notices that you remember the things she says, even the ones she didn't highlight. She notices that your responses reflect genuine understanding instead of autopilot reactions. Eventually, she stops needing to explain herself as much because she feels that you already grasp the layers beneath her words. Intentional attention doesn't demand grand gestures. It simply asks you to be present with purpose. And presence, when offered in its purest form, becomes unforgettable. The truth is simple. Asterisk attention given carelessly means nothing. Attention given intentionally means everything. Asterisk healthy boundaries are often misunderstood, yet they are one of the strongest signals of self-respect. A lot of people believe that setting boundaries pushes someone away, but the truth is the opposite. Boundaries don't create distance, they create clarity, and clarity is what allows a connection to grow without confusion, resentment, or emotional imbalance. When you know what you stand for, what you can allow, and what crosses the line, you naturally show a level of inner strength that cannot be faked. This stability communicates that your life has structure, your time, your energy, and your peace are not open for negotiation. What makes boundaries so compelling is that they demonstrate emotional discipline. You are not operating from a place of fear, insecurity, or desperation. You're operating from alignment. You're showing that you value yourself enough to protect the things that matter. And when a woman sees that you have a standard for how you operate, she instinctively elevates the way she engages with you. People treat you based on the rules you enforce, not the ones you talk about. Boundaries also reduce emotional chaos. Without them, everything becomes reactive. You give too much, you tolerate too much, and then you resent too much. But with boundaries, communication becomes cleaner. You're not punishing anyone. You're simply holding your space with dignity. This creates a dynamic where respect flows naturally instead of being demanded. And respect, once established, becomes the foundation for attraction that lasts. Eventually, she begins to see that your boundaries aren't walls. They are guidelines that protect the connection, not limit it. They show her that you're not afraid to walk away from disrespect, but you're also not afraid to invest when the energy is right. That balance is powerful. Remember this, asterisk, when you respect your limits, others learn to respect you, without you ever needing to ask. Asterisk, the way you behave becomes the lens through which she interprets who you are. It's not your intentions that shape her perception, it's your patterns. People remember consistency far longer than isolated moments, and this is where many individuals misunderstand attraction. They think one good gesture, one deep conversation, or one romantic effort defines them. But what actually defines you is the emotional experience you create repeatedly. Your behavior becomes your identity in her mind because behavior reveals truth about your discipline, your emotional regulation, your values, and your capacity to lead your own life with purpose. When your actions align with your words, you create a sense of predictability that feels safe. She doesn't have to guess who you're going to be today. She doesn't have to decode mixed signals or navigate emotional inconsistency. Stability is not boring, it's grounding. It allows her nervous system to relax around you because your presence doesn't introduce uncertainty, it removes it. And the moment she feels that ease, she connects at a deeper level, almost subconsciously, because human beings bond through consistency, not intensity. This also means being mindful of the emotional footprint you leave behind. Are your interactions uplifting or draining? Do you respond with clarity or confusion? Do you show maturity when things go wrong, or do you shift blame and avoid accountability? These seemingly small choices accumulate into the narrative she forms about you. Over time, your behavior becomes the map that tells her whether this connection is something she can trust or something she should distance herself from. The beautiful part is that you're always writing that narrative through your actions, whether you realize it or not. And when your behavior reflects emotional intelligence and integrity, attraction naturally deepens because she feels your character, not just your charm. In the end, remember this, asterisk, your behavior is your message, and it's the message she believes above everything else. Asterisk, consistency is one of the deepest forms of emotional security you can offer, and yet it's often overlooked because it isn't flashy. It doesn't demand attention the way grand gestures do, and it doesn't create instant excitement, but what it does create is trust, and trust is the foundation of any meaningful connection. When your words and actions align over time, you build a sense of reliability that goes far beyond attraction. You become someone whose presence feels stable, predictable in the healthiest way, and emotionally safe to invest in. People often underestimate how sensitive women are to changes in behavior. Even the smallest shift in tone, effort, or presence can signal something deeper. That's why consistency matters. It's not about being perfect, it's about being intentional with how you show up. When you communicate clearly, follow through on what you say, and maintain the same emotional tone over time, you send a powerful message. You are someone she can depend on. And dependency here doesn't mean weakness. It means she can relax into the connection instead of constantly questioning where she stands. Consistency also reveals emotional maturity. It shows that you don't let temporary moods dictate your long-term behavior. You don't disappear when things get uncomfortable, and you don't show affection only when it benefits you. Instead, you operate from a place of principle, not impulse. That makes your attention feel genuine and your presence feel earned, not accidental. Over time, this creates a rhythm she trusts, one that strengthens the bond without forcing it. When someone experiences consistency, they begin to open up in ways they never would around uncertainty. Walls come down, communication deepens, and the connection takes on a form that isn't based on intensity but on emotional truth. Always remember, anyone can spark attraction. Consistency is what makes that attraction last. Your energy is always communicating, even when you're silent. And the more grounded, intentional, and collected that energy is, the more naturally someone gravitates toward you. A woman doesn't just connect with what you say, she connects with the emotional frequency you operate from. If you carry chaos, she feels it. If you carry desperation, she senses it. But when your energy is steady and self-directed, it creates a magnetic pull that doesn't need to announce itself. It's the quiet kind of confidence that speaks without effort. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending to be unbothered. It means developing an inner world that isn't easily disrupted by external noise. When you walk into a room with emotional clarity, it tells her that you're not seeking validation. You're simply expressing who you already are. That kind of authenticity creates safety. And emotional safety is one of the strongest foundations for deep attraction. A steady energy also shapes how you handle conflict, uncertainty, and emotional intensity. Instead of absorbing someone else's mood and reacting impulsively, you hold your center, you listen, you evaluate, you respond with intention rather than instinct. This shows emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence is one of the most attractive and trust-building traits you can embody. It signals that being around you won't lead to emotional volatility. It will lead to stability and peace. Women naturally align themselves with the energy that feels most consistent and most sincere. When your presence isn't easily shaken, when you operate from clarity rather than insecurity, you become the emotional anchor in the dynamic, not because you dominate the space, but because you stabilize it. And that is what makes your energy unforgettable. In the end, let this stay with you. Your energy sets the tone, and she will always respond to the tone you choose to create.